Hey folks, Dave here, and welcome back to some Fallout 4, and Happy New Year to you guys out there in my Fallout 4 crew. You guys are super patient. Let's start out the new year with a bit more building here in Fallout. If you guys are subscribed over on Patreon at the newsletter tier, you'll know that I was working on trying to get a full settlement tour out for you guys before the end of the year, at which point I was expecting to become a dad. Well, obviously the tour is not out, but I am officially a dad now, which is basically where I've been for the last couple of weeks. I want you guys to meet Micah. He is doing great, Mom's doing great, and I am just so very tired. In all seriousness, it's been awesome. It's just going to be a bit of an adjustment as I figure out the new swing of things. So bear with me. I know things were already kind of all over the place last fall with upload schedules, so I'm just going to be trying to get my footing here as we head into 2020. But putting that tour that didn't get quite finished aside, we're going to be going back to Boston Airport and doing a bit more building based on you guys' suggestions. We've gone through a whole bunch of those from, what was it, late October I think was the last Let's Build. Which button am I hitting here? There we go. So, I agree with you guys. I've been working actually in the creation kit to expand the buildable area here. We're going to have a slightly bigger Minutemen airfield than I was originally planning on. We're going to have more than just that one Vertibird. To do that, we're going to make full use of the parking garage as you guys suggested. And basically, how I'm imagining this is laying out this limited flat space that we have almost like the deck of an aircraft carrier, where as Vertibirds come in and land, we're going to be shuffling them off to the side and making room for new landings. I'm going to tuck those wings in and get them as compact as possible. Before we dive into all that though, I want to give a shout out to today's charity sponsor. Now, I'm going to kick us off with a donation here, and if you guys hit that link right there in the description, we can all donate to this great cause, which is the Pancreatic Cancer Foundation. Their goal is to help spread awareness and actually save lives. It's the third deadliest cancer, but it's the cancer that makes you wish you had a different cancer, as they describe it. It is a really awful cancer. However, it's often called the forgotten cancer because people die so soon after being diagnosed. It only has an 8% survival rate. Whereas most cancer survival rates have been improving over the last 20 years, pancreatic cancer is still really bad, guys, and we can do something about it. Hit that link right there in the pinned comment or in the description to donate along with me. Any amount that you can give helps. Don't just give your sympathy, let's give some of our hard-earned dollars here and actually get some results. To show you guys what I've been working on my own here, I'm going to go into FreeCam so you can see the areas that I've cleaned off. I've cleared off most of the top of the parking garage here. As you guys can see, it's still not a lot of room. These Vertibirds are just massive, but it is more room than our original landing pad down here, which I think will still be used just for a third Vertibird option. Just more room for the props up here on top of the parking garage. Again, I'm going to imagine this as an aircraft carrier kind of space where we'll be able to have one of these parked back here with its wings tucked in, and I'm going to be designing a refueling and maintenance, slight maintenance area up here on the top of the parking garage. These Vertibirds are going to be the ones that are actually in action and are being used out in the Commonwealth. The Vertibirds down here on the ground floor are going to be the ones where we're taking scrap from the wreck of the Pridwin, and we're going to be refurbishing some of these more damaged Vertibirds. So this is kind of the pit down here. What is it called in racing? I'm going to complete mind blank here. Is it just the pit? You know, where they work on the cars. Wow, man, that is a complete brain fart there. But it'll be on the ground floor down here just because that's easier to get the large parts of these Vertibirds back and forth. When they're parked up here, again, these are the birds that are going to be in more or less constant action. I'm going to be designing a couple of these refueling pods. One of the questions that I asked you guys in the last Let's Build episode for the settlement was, what kind of fuel do these vertibirds use? Is it gas or jet fuel, like, you know, actual planes and helicopters? The general consensus was it's probably like the nuclear-powered cars, some kind of a small portable nuclear fuel. So I have this kind of outline right here of kind of a Fallout universe version of a Tesla charging station, which would have been here at this parking garage for cars to use. It is, of course, you know, a nuclear recharging station. And now I'm going to imagine the Minutemen are going to use it for a quick and dirty way of refueling these vertibirds. So I've got some concrete blocks down here, a canopy that was probably part of the parking garage, but I want to find some cool looking decorative gadgets to stick onto this reactor to make it look like the Minutemen have rigged it up to refuel the vertibirds. Then of course I've just got some decorative props over here, some oil storage, you know, don't drift too far, and some stuff to help the vertibirds land. We're going to have the green light for lining up on the center line, and then some red lights on each side for making sure that you stick to that center line. I've also got some of these Gatling guns. I imagine these as, what is it called on the Navy ships? The CIWS system? I think CIWIS. I'm drawing a blank on all of the names tonight, guys. I'm going to blame Micah for the lack of sleep here. These are going to be not just for defensive purposes, these Gatling guns, but also to shoot down incoming projectiles. So if you have a raider that decides to get uppity and the Minutemen snipers don't take him out, and he gets a rocket off aimed at one of these behemoths right here, hopefully our Gatling guns can shoot those incoming rockets down. And you guys know me, I just can't help myself. I've got to have just a few bits of decoration, even though I'm still kind of brainstorming what I'm going to do with this area on top of the parking garage. So I've got someone's rocket launcher right here, maybe even mounted to the side pivot point like this gun is right here. Let me hop up here. Got some small warheads, but also this kind of temporary side gun here. A little bit sparky, must have been taken out on the last raid from this vertibird, but just some cool decorations to make it look like this is the, you know, on deck part of the Minutemen Air Force. These are the vertibirds that are going out and enforcing General Dave's laws and regulations across the new Commonwealth. Same idea over here. On this side of the parking garage, the Gatling guns, in this case a laser actually, just shoot down projectiles and help defend the entrance. And you guys pointed out I was a little bit light on the propaganda, so fixing that. No Brotherhood, no Institute, only order and safety, and some of those flags that were missing from last time. Working on that tail fin as well. Then over here we got our parked vertibird. Strangely, this model is missing its wings. Like, they're just not even there. I'm going to assume that that's part of some animated model that is just not correctly attached to this particular vertibird model. But the cool-looking vertibird with the wings actually folded in then didn't have the landing gears down, because that was the model that's meant to hang off of the Pridwin. So, you know, it would have the wings folded, it would be on that hook thing, and the wheels would be folded inside. So I can't really, you know, make these wheels myself, so I had to pick the model that had the wheels down, even if the wings are kind of glitchy. But if I can figure out some way to place just the wing pieces separately, I haven't been able to find those yet, but if I find those, I'll just place them folded up myself. If I can't find them, well, this one's then also under maintenance. Just use your imagination, right? And as you guys can see, I've got a couple of sandbag bunkers here and there to protect the guards, which are glitched and not up here right now. Just because we have some high ground in the city that people could be sniping from. Speaking of which, I just love the composition here. The scrappy Minutemen Air Force with a really cool looking downtown Boston skyline in the background. I was conflicted when this game first launched about what I thought of the new Boston skyline, but it has grown on me over the years, and I think that the combination of old and new in its unique Fallout style is actually quite cool. Now, of course, this being a parking garage, there were a ton of destroyed cars up here, so I've repurposed a couple of these to make a roughshod, probably the mechanics hangout. Pilots probably wouldn't hang around too much up here, but I thought it would just look cool to use some of the destroyed cars that were already up here to build this out some. Got a great view of, well, not much this direction, but great view off the edge of the parking garage. So this is just basically the rest area, and some piles of tires to keep these things from rolling around too much, the vertibirds that is. Now this ramp right here, I looked at this curve and this pile of debris down there, and as soon as I saw it I was like, this would be an awesome off-duty bowling alley. So when our mechanics aren't repairing our vertibirds, they're probably making a mess of those bowling pins. Also have this little forklift right here, which would have been lifted up by some kind of pulley system, which I imagine is being used to tow these giant vertibirds back and forth, just like an aircraft carrier basically, once they've landed. So that is how I've kind of sketched things out here, if you will, for our parking garage. And of course you guys already saw me come up on the service elevator here. Let's go back down. Which button is it? There we go. Hard work is rewarded. This thing goes down so that new parts and scrap can be brought out of the wreck of the Prydwen. And you guys know me, I just cannot handle a lack of security. Even the button to call the lift is locked inside of this secure cage, which the Minutemen have attached to the side of the parking garage. Now inside, I haven't done much just yet. I'm thinking this open area would be probably some workshops. There's just so much space to actually work with here that I'm worried I'm going to try and place too many objects and get the game to start crashing, because we are in a pretty heavily detailed part of the map. So I don't want to go too hog wild, you know, filling every possible section of floor space with detailing, but maybe in here it would be some of the larger pieces, like for the engines or the props, just because we have this nice large garage door here. And speaking of my love for all things security and detail, I have bricked in the outside staircase here and added some lights. This took probably more time than it was worth to get all these pieces more or less lined up, but again, you guys know me, I just had to have it secure so that as our pilots go up, they're not going to be easily sniped from across the bay here. Got a few areas where you can shoot back though and defend yourself. That brings us up to the stairwell. This reactor right here though is probably just temporary as I'm building. Let's see, I can't hop down there, not safely at least. So besides the workshop area that I'm thinking about for in here, oh, my UI is turned off. I don't even know what I just looted. Oh, does this actually work? Call button. I don't know where this goes.
Going down.
I hadn't even realized that this elevator was here. What is this place?
Parking level 4.
Oh. Where's my revolver? There you are. I've never actually been down here at all. Which I guess is kind of an obvious statement if I haven't ever seen the elevator before. just come out, I wonder? I hear steps, but... That's grim. Oh, what is this? Ooh, chance to stagger on hit. Let's just go ahead and quick save that. So it is blocked off. I imagine that we're going to come out somewhere else in the Boston airport, but I wonder if it's going to go, like, across the bay somewhere? Always loot your scrap as you go, though. What is this? Oh. That is legendary. Ah. I took care of that. What did I see back here? A little scrap. You know, I had no idea that there was an interior section to the airport. To be fair, I did not
Gotta find the card.
go very far down the Brotherhood's quest lines before I took the Pridwin down, so I assume that you go through more of this if you were doing their quests, so... Okay, and we're out. Well, I guess while we're over here, I can just duck back inside. Although I feel like I'm gonna discover, again, speaking of my love of security, I think I'm gonna discover that I've made this too secure. Ow! Ow! Yeah, I don't think there's anywhere I can hop over the... Oh, come on, Dave, really? Gonna drown in barbed wire. Yep. I don't see any way to hop in, so to the door we go. Oh, those vertibirds look awesome up there. Oh, I'll show you guys this too. These are actually some of the cars that were on top of the parking garage. I quite literally threw them off the top. So the ones that we weren't using for that little tarp shelter got thrown off down here for some cover for defending the main road. I also opened up this outer door here, made it a much larger door, and that is clipping. That won't do. There we go. Because, like I mentioned when we were up top, the vertibirds down here are going to be getting some of those larger pieces installed, so we had to have that larger gate. Now in here, we have a few bits of manufacturing. Got our tow tractor. You guys saw basically most of this last time. But I like the idea of making this more of a lounge. And this communication station, I'm just going to move aside for the moment. That's going to go in our control tower. I just haven't decided where that's going to go yet. See, I already used up so much space on top of the parking garage. Let's get these bikes out of here. Or natural. We'll put probably 2 pool tables down through here. Oh, here we go. A pool table with the details already attached. Even better. Awesome. Again, not much has changed on this side just yet, but I did find some good pods to use, these prefabs, for our pilot pods, as I was calling them last time, these individual pilot quarters. And we're going to have some just bunk beds out here in the open space. This will just be for, you know, the mechanics, the bar workers, the rest of the population. It's a nice, big, secure sleeping quarters, but the pilots, you know, being officers of the new Minutemen Air Force, are going to get their own quarters here and there. We'll detail those out a bit later. What I've been trying to figure out, guys, is... Let's see if I can put a staircase down here. Should I put our control tower in the top part of this room? Yeah, we have such little landing space here. But I really can't see where else a tower could go, unless... We have this guard tower that's pretty high. Take a page out of that book and just perch a control tower on top. Can we build that high? I think we can. Well, so much for asking you guys. I think we're gonna put it up top here. And while we're in free cam, I'll just show you guys. I've also cleaned up some of the debris out through here. And we've got some stuff set up where, you know, the Minutemen are scrapping the Pridwin. I don't really think the scaffolding that you guys are talking about would actually be super useful because there's not much besides these thin girders up top. Most of the important parts are probably amongst these crashed pieces here. Ooh, there's a wing. So I think we'll be on the ground scavenging for the most part. And was that a body? That is definitely a dead Brotherhood soldier that's been there for, I guess, 4 years now. That's kind of awkward. Okay, moving on. Let's see, guys. Let's work on the control tower and that refueling station. Let's use place everywhere's extra object selection and see if we can steal it. We can. Oh, it's all torn up. Would this fit inside is the next question. It would not. So I guess to a point, some of the work would have to be done, you know, out here in the street, just because some of these larger pieces would not fit inside. I assume that we would take, you know, the engine apart and stuff like that, but seeing I can't do that in game, we'll just have that piece there where it's being scrapped. That's cool. I was hoping to have a non-damaged wing to put up there with the Vertibird, but oh well. Wow, I really expanded the build area. There's the edge right there. What's over here? Oh, same broken wing pieces. Okay. Enough dilly-dallying. Can I scrap that? Scrap Procter and Gamble. Alright, I feel a little bit bad about this, but scrap. Just another cog in the Minutemen Empire machine. We'll use her power armor for our new vertibirds. Okay. Let's focus down here, guys. I'm having actually a bit too much fun. It's good to get back in the saddle, as it were, and come up with some ideas here. For you guys that were worried that I was done with Fallout, I've just had to prioritize, and with you know, dad stuff going on now, time is precious, but I do really still enjoy working on these builds. It is just, you know, a balancing act. The amount of time that this requires is pretty extreme when I have to you know, balance the other projects that I'm working on for the channel and in real life, but it is good to be back. What I'm thinking, going back to our work here on the refueling station, is that this is the primary refueling station for the vertibirds. You'll come up here to get your fuel topped off. And I imagine the one down on the lower landing pad is even more jury-rigged apparatus. Maybe even on a cart. Not quite as powerful as the station up here. Some awkward lighting with those lights actually lit up there. Oh well. Let's look at... where is it? Decorations. Greebles. Does the Mechanist lair have anything? Ooh, now this cart might be useful. Maybe... Oh, that's got a piece of wall attached to it. Now, for the one down there, those parts could be cool. But I'm looking for some kind of, I don't know, wires or mechanical doodads to make it look like we've hooked this car charger up to these vertibirds. What is that? That is awesome, whatever that is. Okay, we got some pieces here that could be interesting. Is it electric or is it some kind of fuel rod transfer system is the next question. I was thinking electric wires, but a rod system might be really cool. How could we do that? Just like this. So this is going to be the jury-rigged device here. For charging the cores. So I guess if the refuel system is rod-based, some kind of fuel rod that you're recharging, you could, in theory, carry them down to the other tarmac as well, the other landing pad, but we're gonna put this big old cable chunker here on the side, just again to make it look like the Minutemen have probably done some engineering here that they shouldn't have. And I believe if we look at OC Decorator and Workshop Technology, compressor. This right here, guys, will be the compression gun used to reload the fuel rods back into the Vertibird. In my head lore. Nuclear material. I've got none of it. That is exactly what I was looking for. And unfortunately my settlements aren't linked, so I'm gonna have to go get some. And we're back. Let's go ahead and get that nuclear material in there. I found a couple. Oh yeah, that is absolutely perfect for being our fuel rods for the Vertibird. Awesome. Have somebody leave one over here. Where could those go into the Vertibird at? Somewhere back here, possibly. Tell you what, let's just put it on the card. That makes more sense. Cool. Right on the corner. Ready to be knocked off. And what is this pile of trash here? Some of this would have definitely been cleaned up. At least pushed aside, right? Okay. The one thing still bothering me about this setup, before we get too involved with it here, is that that paint mixer is floating kind of awkwardly. And that should make the edge of the paint mixer look less awkward and give a cool, yeah, cool outer shape to it. That looks a lot more natural. Tell you what though, the hitbox for that reactor is huge. I made that one and the hitbox is broken. Confession time, it's huge. So we just get to our fuel rod injector, loader, fuel rod gun, whatever this thing is going to be. I'm going to put that over here as well. Just because the reactor is looking a little bit cluttered. So yeah, here's the gun for loading the fuel rods with one of the fuel rods. That looks better, yeah. A little bit cleaner without it sitting on top. Completely safe, guys. Completely safe. Alright. Let's hop on down, and I'm going to put up our control tower. Then we'll call it a day, just because I feel like I've been rambling for an hour already. Oh, and then we have the Fires of Gondor as well, in case of an emergency. Don't know why I placed that, it just looks really cool. It might not stay. Down we go. Here's what we're looking at right here. Let's go on out here to figure out what kind of framework I want to use for this thing. It's got to be a new construction, like this scrappy structure you're looking at right here. Even if it's made with new materials, it's got to look like the Minutemen have built this themselves. In fact, let me just look real quick. CBC mod. Vehicles. Now that would be cool. A boat cabin lifted up onto the top. Or a trailer. Either one of those would look awesome. I feel like the boat's got more windows though, so we're gonna go with the boat. You guys tell me in the comments if I just made a mistake. Which one looks cooler, the boat or the trailer for our control tower? Is that mostly centered? Oh, not bad actually. Wow, okay. It's hard to judge sometimes when you're manipulating in first person. Oh no, the posts are sticking through. I'm gonna have to add some supports down there. I didn't even realize that. Here we go. These will cover up the legs of the deck quite nicely, I think. Then we'll figure out what to do about getting our stairs up there. Now this is more like it. Can we get this a little bit closer? Right there is about as close as it gets. Whew. That's a tiny little gap right there. There we go. And I'm sure we've got some railings of some kind. Let me think. Fences, junk fence, wire fence. That'll do. Just to keep you from toppling, you know, right off the top. Let's give this one a little bit of sag. It's looking a little too snapped together for my liking. That's more like it. I believe under CBC we can add some slight decorations. Decals. Even being new construction, you'd get some debris up here tracked around. Maybe not tons, but... Oh, what is that? Kind of gross glowing goo. It's the little details that count, guys, and it doesn't count when you can't see them at all. Just to break up some of that repeating texture. For the inside decorations, the first thing I'm going to grab is that Minutemen communications desk that I shoved unceremoniously outside when I was putting our pool tables down. We're gonna put this front and center. This communications hub can have a settler assigned to it if I ever get my settlers working correctly. And it's going to make up the large majority, it looks like, of our control room. We've got our radio and our map and our comms gear. Whoop, wrong rotation axis. Okay, let's put some antennas down up here. Don't clip through quite that much. These are all quite tall. There we go. Couple antennas. I guess we should probably have lights on here. I'm going to use these ones that don't cast light if I can, so our vertibirds don't crash. These dead lights are nice because they don't actually cast any real light, just a fake light effect. And they don't actually use the in-game electricity. Watch the edge. And by not using the electricity, they are easier on the game. And so you can place more of them when the light is not actually important. Alright gang, I'm going to place a couple decorations like this hollow tape rack, landing tray. Will this desk actually fit? Yeah, seeing the electronics aren't cooperating, I'll have to come back and add those. For now, I'm just going to place this radio speaker and of course the hollow tape deck. We're going to stop there for today, guys. I have been rambling for long enough. Again, thank you guys for your patience as I enter the new world of being a dad. And as you can hear from my voice, I'm not quite back in the swing of things. This has kind of wrecked my voice. But I hope you guys enjoyed the bit of building today. Hope you like what I've done so far with the additions to this settlement. I agree with you guys 100%. Adding the parking garage makes complete sense. So if you guys have any more golden ideas like that, as always, drop them down in the comments. For now, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.